What is up, everybody? We are back again to Wolf Tales. If you like to see more of this, please leave likes, comments, and subscribe. Anyways, where we left off was quite a bit of scene. I guess Fuyu and Mirari found a hot spring or something inside of a cave, and they wanted to reward me for my good actions. Uh-oh. I didn't save. Anyways, I'll be right back. Alright, sorry about that. We're back to the scene. And unfortunately for YouTube's sake, I'm going to have to censor the tittage. Sorry about that. That's just how it is. Anyways, let's keep going. It feels so good. In the depths of the cave, we find, of all things, a natural hot spring. Despite doubting my own eyes, I find in front of the hot spring mouth agape while the girls cast aside their clothing and jump in without hesitation. A hot spring? Here? How does that work? Is this a dormant volcano or something? Who cares? The water feels great. You can say that again. Come and join us, Joe. Zzz. Just no. I think I'll stay out here. Why? Well, I mean, the water's probably filled with bacteria. Not to mention all things, of all sorts of things, of sharp rocks on the base of it. I think it'll be safer out here. Ah, come on, don't be like that. We're about here to thank you, Joe. And we can't do that if you don't get in. Oh, believe me, this is thanks enough. I avert my gaze as I try to distract myself from the sublime figures of the two naked wolf girls in front of me. See my reaction? Mirari points out, pouts, and swims closer. Ooh, I cannot read with this in front of me. What? Hey, what do you think you're doing? Isn't it obvious? If you don't get in on your own, I'll just have to pull you in. If you pull me in right now, my clothes are getting soaked and I'll freeze to death on the way home. Then take them off and jump in yourself. Fuyu snickers as Mirari shows a surprising forceful side of her personality. It seems she doesn't like the idea of her kindness being refused. Fine, I'll get it. I'll join you. But are you sure you're gonna be okay with this? I'm a guy, you know. So? We're just bathing. Stop being such a prude. So I'm the weird one here for having shame, am I? Whatever. Don't say I didn't warn ya. Worn down by the girl's persistence, I take off my clothes. That's it. That's it. Bathe with us. What the? Is that a man's? Mirari happily pulls me in by the arm. Fuyu, on the other hand, immediately turns red in the face and begins to cover her eyes with her hands. If you're that embarrassed, look away. I'm not embarrassed. I just, I always bathed with my mother while my father kept watch. So, I never, Fuyu's voice becomes more faint as she averts her gaze. I forgot Joe was a man. Am I really that manly? Enduring all kinds of shame and embarrassment, I've submerged my lower half in the water. Wow. You girls weren't kidding. Right? I found this place last time I ran away from the pack. Nice to hear something good came from your mischief. Something always comes from my mischief. Mirari smiles coldly as she brings one hand to her face. Ever since she jumped in the hot spring, Mirari's been acting less reserved than usual. I guess a little bit of mischief is okay now then, considering how well behaved you usually are. Although, speaking of mischief, I turn and look at Fuyu. Rather than join Mirari and I, Fuyu is sitting by herself. She continues to squirm, rubbing her thigh together with a red face. It couldn't be. While the hot spring has loosened Mirari up, it seems that Fuyu has become stiff from the moment I joined in. Ever since I stepped in front of her, Fuyu has been keeping to herself. What do we have here? What are you doing haggling away over here? Hime, what you, As Fuyu's sitting all by herself, Mirari decides it's time to intervene. You have to clean yourself properly, Fuyu. I know you usually lick yourself clean, but it'd be a shame to let this opportunity go to waste. No, Hime, don't! My body's sensitive right now. If you touch me there, I'll... You're right. Your body is reacting to every touch. That just makes me want to play with you even more. Hime? Struck with a leg of sadism, Mari begins to rub Fuyu's body all over. Oh my gosh. Unlike when she was washing my body, Mari doesn't hesitate to wash Fuyu's front. She kneads Fuyu's flesh forcefully, cleaning off that area beyond a shadow of a doubt. Heh, your breasts have grown again, haven't they, Fuyu? And your skin is so smooth. I'm surprised it's still so gorgeous, considering how rarely you bathe. Hime, stop this. What's got into you? Is this water messing with your brain? Don't be like that. I'm not the only one acting different, right? Yeah. Hime, there is, You need to wash every inch of your body, Fuyu, especially down there. You can't normally reach that far with your tongue, right? So we need to make sure you get it nice and clean while we're in here. No, I can wash myself, please, Hime. This, Completely ignored by the point where my presence has been forgotten, I sit on the other side of the hot spring, shielding my crotch. Oh my god. No matter how hard I try to suppress my dirty thoughts, Mari seems intent on making that impossible. Princess, that place shouldn't be... Fuyu freezes up as she looks at my face, as though she only just remembered that I'm present. Oh, what's this? I've only just cleaned you off, but the moment you start looking at Joe, you got all dirty again. Perhaps he's the one you want to have washing you after all. No, of course not. How could that be possible? Fuyu protests fiercely as she turns away from me. Not even a second later, however, I catch her glancing at me at the corner of her eye, still red in the face. You're such a poor liar, Fuyu. At least your body's honest to what she wants. Hey, Mari, don't you think you're going a bit far? You shouldn't be so rough with Fuyu. She's a girl, you know. Fuyu's face turns one shade of red deeper as I stand and walk towards the girls. With her breathing momentarily stopped and her eyes fixed on my lower half, I'm unsure if my words have been heeded or not. Oh, Joe, how bold. If you show us something like that. Mari puts one end of her assault on Fuyu and joins in starting fixating at my crotch. Oh, I mean... Falling in her line of sight, she looks at my... Oh my god, I can't read right now. Falling in her line of sight, I look down at my body and realize that they are straight staring at my erection. Oh my god. Oh, come in. I didn't mean to show you something unsightly. I lower my body once more, hiding my body into the water. Hime, is that me, or did it get bigger? I think you're right. Did you see the way it was pointing straight at us? It was drooping down a little bit before, but now it was totally full of energy. Was it because it wants us? You may be right. How devious, how absolutely shameful. Contrary to their cautious word, both girls smile with red faces as they continue to look in my direction. Exposing these two girls to the wonders of the male body may have been a careless action to my part. Oh well, it's not like it matters. It was just a peek. Isn't going to change anything, right? Thinking those optimistic thoughts, I sink into the hot water and relax my body once more. Oh man. Whew. Well, it looks like nothing else happened, guys. Sorry. Following an uneventful walk back to the cabin, the rest of our day proceeds without incident. Mari back to her old self, cooks dinner for the three of us, all while acting like the events of the hot spring never happened. Fuyu, on the other hand, had been uncharacteristically quiet and submissive. She kept to herself and hasn't talked except when spoken to. Forget it. They'll be back to normal tomorrow. They already gone to bed anyways. Rather than worry about the chaos they were creating earlier, I should simply enjoy the peace. I lay on my bed and close my eyes. Being with the wolf girls all day had tired me out. Right now, all I want to do is... Oh, for crying out loud. I regretfully opened my eyes and peered towards the door to my bedroom. Watching the door carefully, I notice a subtle movement as the intruder attempts to open the door more quietly as they started to. A few moments later, a familiar pair of ears entered the line of sight, followed by two timid, curious eyes. Mirari? What are you doing sneaking around like that? Ah, you caught me. I wasn't sure if it would be better to wait until you were asleep or not. If what would be better? Hey, wait! Without responding verbally, Mari walks over to my bed and crawls on top. Then inches forward on all fours until she's right next to me, sitting with her legs at her sides. What are you doing, Mirari? If you want someone to sleep next to, go keep Fuyu company. I usually would, but... But what? Fuyu has been a bit, restless ever since we went to the hot spring. Maybe Fuyu's in heat after all. Having her do it while we're bathing is one thing, but I can see how sleeping next to her can be problematic. So your plan is to sleep next to me instead? If you can't sleep without being right beside someone, you might want to give up on running away from home all by yourself. Mari giggles at my remark. You got me there. But you know, I didn't care. I didn't just come here to sleep. Woo! What's gonna happen? Before I can ask Mari to elaborate, Mari has been starting to warm her way under my blanket. Oi, Mari, what do you think you're doing? Sleeping? Just sleeping. Fine, whatever. Just hurry up and go to sleep. Hi. I closed my eyes and rolled onto my side, facing away from Mari. Unfortunately, even without looking at her, I was unable to settle down. The sound of her breathing continues to stimulate me, as I can feel her body warmth on my back, even without her touching me. There's no way I'm going to be able to sleep like this. Calm down, Joe. She's here to sleep, nothing more. Bear with it, and... Whoa! Huh? A yelp was described from my lips as a pair of long, slender arms wrapped themselves around my neck. The next moment, two soft, bulging mounds are pressed against my back, and I can feel Mari's legs intertwining with mine. Is Mari trying to warm up? Her and Fuyu are pretty close together. Maybe Mari's... Trying to rationalize my actions, one of her hands traveled down to my waist. I hurriedly grab her wrist in order to prevent her from going any further. Mari, wait, what are you doing? That place is... The second I turned to face her, Mari's lips pressed against mine. Mari places her hand on the waistline of my pants once more, with her other hand resting on my cheek. Like so, she brings her face closer to mine, as if she's about to kiss me once more. You know, Joe, I've been told all about all the duties expected of a wife, not just cooking and cleaning. Mari's hand slips under my waistline. My body jerks in surprise as her cold finger gently grasps something they should not be touching. I have no actual experience in this, but if you let me... Mari kisses me once more. Her lips press against mine. She begins to move her hand back and forth, clumsily attempting to give me a hand job. The moment I'm about to come to my sentence, I feel my own hand move as well. Woo! I look down and find Mari's other hand grasping mine, moving it to her breast. You too, Joe. I want you to touch me, as if I were your lover. Drawn in by Mari's lustful-filled eyes, I raspily voice... Wait, what? Drawn in by Mari's lust-filled eyes and raspy voice, I unconsciously squeeze her breast. Yes, just like that, Joe. As I gulp as a soft moan escapes from Mari's lips. Far too late for me to do any good, I realize what's going on. So Fuyu is not the only one in heat. No wonder Mari was acting so feisty at the hot springs earlier. But knowing that, what the hell am I supposed to do? Despite my internal dilemma, I continue to grope Mari's breast. Mindlessly, I roll her nipple with my palm, then sink my fingers into her soft, bountiful flesh. Joe, your fingers feel so good. This is completely different from when I do it myself. Spurred on Mari's words, I moved my other hand down to her waist. Almost naked, I can clearly see contours of Mari's body, and I know exactly where she wants me to touch her. Are you gonna do it, Joe? If you are, then that's okay. I'm ready for this. Marley nervously opens her legs, creating enough room for my hand to pass between her thighs. I'm ready when you are. Please touch me, Joe. Woo! Use my hands or use my mouth? I don't even know if it's, I'll use my hands. Stroking her inner thigh with my hand, I gradually make my way towards Mari's crotch. The fluids dripping down her thigh coat my hand, and by the time I reach Mari's boop, I don't know if I should say it. Yeah, is it okay to say that word? I guess so. I can't believe I'm reading this. By the time I reach Mari's pussy, my hands is already soaked. Joe, stop teasing. You know what? That isn't what I meant. Ignoring Mari's complaint, I move one hand to her crotch while continuing to grope her breast with the other. Running my fingers along her wet slit, I gently caress the entrance of her body. Whoa! Joe. I told you that isn't... Mari yelps in surprise as my thumb brushes against her clitoris. Despite her complaints, Mari's body continues to quiver as her lower half excretes a surprising amount of fluid. Right there. Right there. Joe, that feels so... Mari stops trying to sway me as she loses herself to pleasure. Slick with Mari's juices, my hand makes a loud squelching sound as I increase my speed. I rub the entrance of Mari's body and more quickly, watching her face with glee as waves of pleasure wash over her. Yeah, that's enough, Joe. I can't take it anymore. Mari pushes me away. Breathing heavily, she looks at me with tears in her eyes as she grabs a hold of my penis. This is what I want. Please, Joe, stop teasing me already. Just stick it inside me, Joe. Just take me as your mate. I unconsciously gulp as Mari moves her lower body closer to mine. Lining her genitals up with her hand, Mari looks at me once more, as though confirming that it's okay to continue. Seeing the pleading look on her face, I take a deep breath and stare directly into her eyes, and... I can't do that. Mari stares at me in surprise as I pull away from her. I grab Mari's clothes and hand them to her, prompting her to get dressed. After taking a few breaths and slowing down my heart rate, I slowly dress Mari. I'm sorry, Mari. I can't do this to you. Not like this. I know that you really want to do this. You don't really want to do this. You're just driven by instinct and acting on impulse. I know I'm just taking advantage of that. Gratefully, Mari begins to address herself. She looks dejected as she stares down at herself, but doesn't protest at all. As forceful as she's acting moments ago, Mari isn't going to try and make me do something I don't disagree with. Besides, seeing that Mari is now fully dressed, I turn to face her. This isn't the kind of thing you should do on the spur of the moment with someone you barely know. You should save this kind of thing for someone you love. Mari freezes. After a few seconds of silence, she tilts her head up and looks at me in the eye. Then, as long as I love the other person, it's okay? If the other person feels the same way about you, then yeah. Not that any guy would say no to Mari. I see. So you don't share my feelings after all. Huh? Mari shuffles off the bed and stands up. Then she walks over to the doorway and stops before passing through. I'll just have to keep working hard until you do. Saying so at a volume no greater than a whisper, Mari leaves my bedroom, closing the door behind her. Even after Mari's gone, I stare at the door silently for a while, trying to piece together everything that just happened. Whatever it was that just transpired, I don't think I'll ever be able to look at Mari the same way again. Aww. The next day. Since the night I spent with Mari, she's undergone an unexpected but unwelcome change. Her attentiveness has increased several-fold, and so has her attention to detail. She's been working dutifully to earn her keep, but at the same time, she appears to be by my side every spare moment she gets. As a result, my cabin seems to be permanently filled with the smell of food, and the entire place is cleaner than it's ever been before. On the other hand, however, Joe, I'm all done cleaning the kitchen. You know what that means. I know. Come here. Mari lets out a brief cry of pleasure as I pat her on the head. That feels so good, Joe. Your hands are to die for. I don't think I'll ever believe you now. Real subtle, Mari. Lately, Mari has been really driving home the fact that she doesn't want to leave my cabin. Strangely, Fuyu hasn't been getting on her case as much about it either. She seems to be torn about whether to reprimand Mari or to go along with her selfishness. Honestly, I have no idea what I'm supposed to be doing at all of this. Joe, when you're finished reading, would you like to, where we left off the other night? Huh? Mari, what are you suggesting exactly? Oh, jeez, don't make me say it. You know what I'm talking about, Joe. The entire neighborhood knows what you're talking about. Can't you two lovebirds just keep it to yourself? Lovebirds? Mari smiles as her cheeks red, as she accepts Fuyu's destination without protest. I suppose it would be inappropriate to go any further without Fuyu is here. Very well, we'll continue this discussion later. For the time being, I'll return to cleaning. Don't neglect to warn me once I'm finished, Joe. Yeah, sure. Whatever you say, Mari. Gross. It was bad enough when the princess was acting on her own. Now that you started playing along, she's getting even worse. Playing along? What are you even talking about? Don't be dumb. I know exactly what's going on here. The princess wants to stay here with you, and you're letting her think that she can. You're both using each other, yet you're too dumb to even realize it. Come on, Fuyu, don't be like that. Mari and I are just making the best of a bad situation. We both know that she'll be returning back soon enough. Human, do you actually believe what you just said? Fuyu narrows her eyes and glares at me coldly. The Hime is serious about staying here with you. Her advances on you are not a joke, and I think you know this. You're gonna have to give her an answer sooner or later, Joe. If you don't, that girl will surely force your hand. Ugh. Whew. Oh. With Fuyu's warning still fresh in my mind, I spent the rest of the day replaying the past few days over and over in my mind. From Mari's increased kinship to her over-the-top attentiveness, and especially her not-so-subtle mentions of staying in my cabin indefinitely, all this, in addition to Mari's visit to my room, paints a clear picture. Fuyu is right. Mari really does want to stay with me. Not just as a resident of this cabin either. She seems to want more than that. But do I have what it takes to give Mari what she wants? Can I give her this dick? I turn onto my side and close my eyes as Mari's face comes to mind. I like Mari. I really do. I enjoy having her here. And deep inside, there's definitely a part of me which wants to keep her staying here with me. But I know I know that if I do give her into her, things will not end well. Staying here with me would mean making Mari abandon her friends and family, and she would be isolated with me, with only me for company. If I truly cared about her, then could I bring myself to wish such a fate upon her? Joe, are you still awake? I was hoping to speak to you before you fall asleep. Brought back to reality by Mari's soothing voice, I sit up to face her. I'm still awake. What's wrong, Mari? Is something troubling you? Yes, you could say that. Can we possibly talk outside? I nod, the unspoken understanding that Fuyu might be listening in such a small house. Outside, the air is cool, but not overly unpleasant. Mari leads us to a small clearing in the house. Satisfied that we're far enough out of earshot from Fuyu, Mari turns to me. Oh. Joe, I don't know if you realize this, but these past few days, I've been dropping a number of hints about staying here. Hints, she says? Hardly. There was nothing indirect or vague about her statements at all. Suppressing the urge to retort, I let Mirai speak. Joe, I don't want to inconvenience you or to pressure you into making a decision. However, I don't have the leisure of waiting indefinitely while you decide my fate either. So I want to ask you directly right here now. Joe, will you let me stay with you here in this cabin? I bite my lip as my watery eyes bore into my skull. I struggle to answer her. Truthfully, her question is one I don't yet have an answer to. It's a serious question, with equally serious consequences. It's something I need time to think about, lest I do something reckless or irresponsible. Be that may, time is not on my side. Just as Mirai stated, she can't wait forever, nor can I expect her to. Mirai requires an answer sooner than rather later. Her pack needs to know, will she lead it? And Mirai must begin to plan the next stage of her life accordingly. Unfortunately for Mirai, however, if I'm being forced to reach a decision right this second, then it won't be one that she wants to hear. I'm sorry, Mirai, but my answer is no. Alright guys, I think this is a place to leave it. If you'd like to see more of this, please leave a like, comment, or subscribe. And I'll see you guys next time. Bye.